Watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
We're back. The legislature goes into session for the first time in 2009, January 28th. We're talking to Representative Carolyn about the new session and sort of the state of the state. We mentioned the Department of Transportation, the DOT. It's been called a den of patronage and inefficiency. And as a matter of fact, the federal government says it's so poorly run that it's withholding federal funding for local projects until a new management plan is approved. How did you feel as part of the state where the federal government says our DOT is poorly managed?
Well, you know, it's not very ladylike to be, I told you so. But this has been being said now for years. Many people have been saying this is going badly. We're blowing the highway trust fund money. Where this gas cap thing, it's been a topic of conversation for years. We've just never gotten enough people together to do it.
Should the legislature exercise more oversight on how it's run?
Oh, I think so. And I think we may be setting up for a confrontation on that, which I hope is not a bad one. I hope it works out well. Where
with the
the governor is now taking control of that DOT. And of course, I think if we see it goes well, we'll be happy. But I think the legislature this is no time for them to just throw it away and say, do what you want. I think the people of North Carolina have spoken, and they're clear about this. They don't want any more money stolen from that highway trust fund. I think they want the word trust to mean something. Like, I trust you'll keep it there.
It's no secret that the department is woefully underfunded.
Yes.
And that North Carolina needs to upgrade and enhance its infrastructure. And you mentioned the gas cap. It's set to expire. The gas cap is set to expire in June. The DOT says it's already about $600 million in the hole because the cap was instituted. Should we extend the cap or let it expire?
You know, that is a very, very difficult subject right there. First of all, the way North Carolina did its tax, which is what forced us to cap it, was that the the tax fluctuated with the increase in gas. If the cost of gas went up, the rate went up, not just the income.
Right.
And that could get you going the other way too, which is where we're going now. The rate goes down. So how can you fund a department and know what you're going to have with something volatile like that?
Who orchestrated the legislature?
I think that's been in place some time. So those that lobbied for the cap were just putting a Band-Aid on a wound. It's go back, figure out a way to do the tax so it doesn't have that and it doesn't strangle you when the rate of gas is going up and that climbing.
The rate doesn't go up, the revenue does.
The revenue does. And then you can better plan a budget.
What about this idea that's floating around for a tax on miles driven to increase DOT revenue? Do you like that?
Well, I think just right off the top, my basic philosophical beliefs is government does enough to me. I don't need them in the car with me.
Another department that's caught a lot of flack is the State ABC Commission and their local ABC boards. There's charges the system's outdated, inefficient, and that the local boards have little accountability to the communities they serve. Case in point, Castle Street, 17th Street, the neighborhood fiasco there. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that was a fiasco about the design of that building, location, trees, and buildings. I think that in its own self is a tragedy. Separate from that, the ABC, I'm on this program evaluation interim study committee. There's about 12 legislators on it. The one I said that you can go online and pull up, and one of its reports is about the ABC. And what we found out was we have ABC stores that are making an excellent profit. We have ABC stores that are losing money. Well, right off, that tells you that's a problem. We have ABC stores opening within a short distance of another ABC store. They both are now lose money. Do you know what I mean?
Do they need to be?
They don't need to be. It needs to be
overhauled.
Here was my question to that committee when we were debating it after the report. Why does North Carolina need to be in the business of controlling alcohol?
Enough said. Let's talk about the A word, annexation. Continues to be a compelling issue, particularly in our area, with another City of Wilmington initiative in Monkey Junction. In the last session, the idea of a statewide moratorium on annexation was proposed, but it didn't pass.
Passed the House.
Yeah.
Didn't pass the Senate.
Didn't pass. What's the possibility it will be reintroduced and passed this session?
Well, let me make something perfectly clear. I am opposed to forced annexation. And that would take me an hour. For an hour I could tell you why. But, and I think all good reasons. But this year, what happened last year was a House committee was formed to debate it. They did. They proposed a bill, moratorium, passed the House, died in the Senate. So leadership said, oh, this year let's have the interim study committee be joint. So they're meeting right now, could be today. And they've been meeting, and it's Senate and House. So hopefully when the recommendation comes out this time, if it's for a moratorium, it'll pass both houses.
You think it will make an appearance on the floor of both houses?
I do.
And you think it'll be passed?
I don't know. I think it will be much different than the bill we had last year, but until they report out, and they're supposed to report out today and tomorrow, I think, we won't know exactly what it says.
Is there a big lobby effort to defeat that moratorium?
By the municipalities? Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Have you been contacted?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, we meet annually. The legislative delegation here meets annually with the city of Wilmington and other municipalities to talk about their legislative agenda, and they've been very strong about how strongly they feel about wanting the power to do that. Representative McComas and I have been very strong about our opposition to it. And I don't want to speak for Julia because I don't really remember which way she was, but I know Representative Sanders Paulding Hughes is in favor of the forced annexation, and that would make sense since she was formerly a city councilwoman.
There's a lot on the plate of the legislature, both houses, of course, but an issue that some other states have passed is banning handheld cell phone use while driving. You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would like to see it be, hands-free. I'm not for completely banning the use of cell phones
but
in
handheld.
the car. But handheld.
You would be in favor of that?
I could go along with that. Mm-hmm.
What's your position on the whole Titan cement issue, about Titan locating the nation's fourth largest cement plant in the Castlehane area? That's
a tough one, and I'll tell you why, Don. When that first raised its head here, and I spoke to some of the powers that be involved in that, I said, here's my advice. Get out front. Get out front with the company. Get them out front. Get them communicating with our environmental groups, because I'm a strong environmentalist. And get them telling their story and selling their wares so everybody's properly informed. They failed to do that.
Are you worried about the environmental impact that Titan may have on the region?
Because I don't have the information because they failed to do that. Yes, I am.
Because Titan failed to do it?
They have not presented us with the information we need for me to feel safe about that.
You don't feel
decision.
There's enough information out there to make a judgment?
I think there's information pretty heavily weighted on one side. I think Titan needs to have come to the table, presented their argument so that we can then make an informed decision by hearing both sides. Does it frighten me? Of course it frightened me. I'm the person that helped lead the fight against Thermocrim and the hog farm.
Hog farms, yeah, you were very proactive in that.
But still I feel, and I think that's where Titan failed, was it failed to come out with its information so you could make an informed decision.
Rumor has it that you may not seek another term. Is there any truth to that?
Well, my district, and how its district is laid out, is currently, as we speak, before the nation's Supreme Court.
Yes.
Now, I think that says something about a county when they're tenacious enough to get all the way to the nation's Supreme Court.
Pender County wants an independent, single county representative in the North Carolina House.
They want what the Constitution of North Carolina says they should have, and which was the first district I ran in, all of Pender, a little bit of Castlehane.
We're almost out of time.
I know. It's going to depend a lot on what happens with that redrawing, but if it stays like it is, I'll be running.
That's going to do it. Representative Justice, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. If you want to see Byline Wilmington online, go to WILM-TV.com. I'm Don Ansell. Have a great week.
You've been watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Join us every Sunday morning at 11 as we explore the issues that concern you.